Now I just heard the donations. I feel like my sounds are playing twice today. I have no idea why. Bottom right hand corner, I'm a red Terran from the Shop AFI Rebellion. This is ByuN. In the top left, it is going to be a blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It is Clem as we get this one up and running and get into a little bit of TvT. Alrighty, my friends. Excited for some TvT. Clem and ByuN almost always deliver. I've loved ByuN's TvT as of late. Really felt as though he has been very fun to watch. So let's see how we get going with this. Just going to be seeing our couple of refineries coming through from ByuN. Obviously, like I say, ByuN's TvT's been impressing me a lot lately. Clem, I always feel like loses to Korean TvT, but he's always competitive, right? He doesn't just get swept. See what goes down. Gonna be having our racks coming up on both sides. SCVs coming through. Just gonna see this Reaper starting up on the high ground here from ByuN. Just getting that underway. Orbital command coming up as well. Both sides getting this up and running for the early few moments. SCV is going to nibble at each other. And again, just going to be seeing that factory coming up as well. Command center, orbital, all still being brought up into play. The first few moments of this, and we'll just be having our SCV getting turned back around. And away we go. SCV coming all the way down to the south. Factory coming up. Just going to be seeing our Reaper is about to finish. And just going to be having one Reaper already on the high ground. Double Reaper together from ByuN will go aggressively across the map then, trying to have a little bit of a look to see just what's going on. Gonna be hopping into this main base. Good grenade, preemptive grenade there to give you the advantage from Clem, not having to waste time throwing it down during the fight or anything. It's gonna be seeing the Reapers will go through for 3 SCVs, 4 SCVs, trying to get 5, but the repair was good at least on the 5th and final. So these Reapers give themselves up. But 4 SCVs kill is gonna put Clem behind in the early stages here, so he is gonna be just naturally behind for a few moments. And we'll see what he can do in terms of trying to pull that back in just a little bit as SCVs continuing around, trying to see just what they can do. We're actually going to get concussive shells up here from Clem with the Marauders and then Hellion production as well. So as we get ourselves up with that, that is going to be a pretty I would say it's going to be a pretty big deal, right? I mean, you're going to give yourself a pretty good opportunity to, try and get some damage dealt. This is one of these builds from Clem that's pretty committed, so actually you need to be a little bit careful about this. Let me see now. Hellion's still going through the medevac with a couple of Marauders in. Clem, well, obviously with the damage he took earlier as well, would absolutely love to do some damage here, so let's see if he can deliver on that. Hellion's going across. The Marine is going to go down already, and just going to be seeing ByuN not really having much defense here. The Marauders do not get the first shot on the Cyclone. Would have been a nice little head start as these SCVs around the back. Please don't say they're going to get away, because if ByuN doesn't lose these, that feels like a real missed opportunity from Clem. As 3 SCVs dead so far, we're kind of lifting back up. The Raven drops an auto turret to help defend as well, and this is starting to look as though it honestly is just a defense from ByuN. A few SCVs killed is not enough to make up the difference. The tank shot blasting at the tail end of that one as well. And this does seriously look as though it's going to be a little bit A little bit too much kind of a good defense, unless Clem can get a little bit more done. He's still 5 SCVs behind, so he's coming out of this in a big disadvantage. Our Marine's coming over and just going to be seeing a medevac just coming over the edges for a few more seconds. Couple Marauders go back down. SCVs take some shots. The Raven going to be overhead still and just keeping an eye on the medevacs. Just going to be seeing that Marauders dropping in. Just going to be seeing this siege tank is going to get picked off. So that is nice. Clem is still trying to find damage here. And he is slowly but surely kind of getting there. I feel like we're slowly just ramping up towards the damage that we need. Cyclone lock-on remains there for just a couple more moments, and just seeing our Marines coming back across. Couple shots coming out. The siege tank being set there is going to be able to push the Cyclone back as well. Tank coming up on both sides. Just going to be seeing the movement in towards this continued production continuing, and Clem in the end does even out the work account. Third CCs are, well, finished for Clem. Non-existent on the side of ByuN. Third CC is just about to be done, so maybe non-existent is a little bit of a harsh way of saying it, but definitely a little bit of a factor as our Ravens come through the top side. Plus one attack coming up on the engineering bay. You can see the extra barracks coming through, the stim and the +1. All continuing out for just a little bit, and the Ravens dropping in a couple of these auto turrets. SCVs already beginning to go down. And we are just continuing to hunt there for a few extra moments as we get this set up. Ravens of Clem still active on the map. He does get rid of one Raven here with his siege tank. Let's connect on that pretty decently. I'm just going to be seeing now these auto turrets, though, still getting SCVs, and so is it worth the cost of losing a Raven to get some more SCVs here? That's the price you've had to pay. Is that too much of a price, or what are we feeling? Clem is still being aggressive. It feels like he's never let up his map control. He's been on this other side of the map so frequently, pretty much throughout this game, so going to be sticking to that a little. There's a couple tanks move on up. That tank there on the high ground will take 2 tank shots, but will not go down because there's no third and follow-up shot on it for the moment. A couple more shots going down. Nothing too serious just yet. Nothing too ridiculous. As we just have ourselves the Ravens and a couple of Vikings continuing through. Out across the bottom side. Chilling out overhead. Just going to see our +1 attack still coming up as well. A couple of tanks going to get themselves all sieged up here as well here. And just going to be seeing the Marines trying to press forward a little bit. Ravens still up overhead. Actually, masses of matrices. He's going to deny every single siege tank. And now we drop auto turrets. We drop the Vikings. We're going to take this fight. Clem, well, he's going to get flanked in now. The Matrix is coming in onto his own siege tanks. He does get a lot done. So many SCVs dying of ByuN, most importantly. As that is going to be ByuN on 38 workers to 64 coming out. And ByuN is behind on army supply. So Clem's consistent map control and presence is finally paying off. Getting into some of these positions. Finding himself the fights he's looking for. Getting there in the end. That is going to be absolutely huge. There's a couple of Vikings sitting tight with everything else. And that is going to be our push maybe over for the moment. ByuN going to have to find some damage. You can already see him setting up the potential counter-attacking drop to try and find something on this. See if that will turn out to be enough or so in the very near future. As our 1-1 upgrades, our combat shield all coming in for the moment. Medevac will boost. Clem has the sensor tower, but he doesn't have vision up top. But he does have the turrets to deny, so that will work out as well. The Marines will unload out there. And that will seemingly be that. Just for the moment, at least. As though we are going to get ourselves to a few moments of chill. Medevac Marines continue around for the moment here as we get set up. Just gonna get a couple shots off, a little bit more damage being dealt just for a moment or so. There's going to be some few Vikings still hanging out on the sides. Marines and Medevac still overhead. The army of Clem looking to play defensively. ByuN going to build his 4th on location because that's the kind of position he's in now. He needs to take some risks. Try and do that right now. Peanut butter, Jesus, thank you so much for the 4-month resub. Root Wood, hell yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate the support. As Marines and tanks will continue together. Still seeing 2-2 coming up on both sides of this as well. So we've seen a few Marines still coming through, and again just poking a little bit more damage out over on the side. Just trying to get as much done as possible here as our Marines and our tanks all join on up. It's going to be seeing 2-2 upgrades continuing in, the Marines in plenty of numbers for the moment. It's going to be seeing our Marines coming forwards. Will come around the back, just going to go after and nibble away at a couple more SCVs. I mean, this is ByuN obviously trying to get himself back in this game, trying to get himself back on track. Medevac coming around the back side, just trying to see what else we can get going on. Still got ByuN actually taking the map control. I would say right now is a pretty nice place to be as well. So setting up just a little bit for that, getting that ready to go. You see, ByuN still gathering up as well, just a little bit. Tries to run in there, but that's not going to go too well. Clem is absolutely going to butcher him in this fight, so that really doesn't end too well at all. That ends up kind of nasty. Really doesn't work too well. It's going to be seeing Marines coming back over to the side and still just trying to get into some kind of a position, still trying to make something go down. Just going to be seeing Clem consistently defending, ByuN trying to take positions. Obviously, Clem worked his way up to his own 4 bases, and ByuN's a little bit faster going towards the 5th again. Vikings overhead, just going to have to pull back for a couple of moments once more. The Libera is going to get sieged up. Marines already going to get poked back, but the Libera is, and the air control in general is going to be so much tougher for ByuN to hold any of these sort of positions here. So this is going to just get so much tougher. Feels as though this is absolutely just going downhill at the moment here. Unfortunately, if your name is ByuN, things are not looking too hot right now. As do have our Marines still trying to make their way up across over here. The few tanks getting set as well. Just going to be seeing the 3-3 upgrades continuing through on the side of Clem. So bringing this up and getting this underway for the moment. It's going to be seen ByuN Army is still trying to get a little bit of something done here, so trying to find potentially a way of just finding a little bit of extra success. Clem is still holding out, though. ByuN is getting maxed, and actually Clem's going to donate his Vikings here, but he should be able to surge forward and break this position. ByuN has a lot of tactical setups still in play right now, with the units out down on the middle of the map, for example. It's just a lot of stuff that he can kind of work on there, a lot of positioning he can really work with for a little while. He's going forward, just a little bit more damage being dealt for a few moments, and still impressive. ByuN pulling this game back. He is on the +3 armor, but no +3 attack. It's a ByuN classic. We've seen this one many a time before, unfortunately. It's, yeah, it's not ideal, to say the least. It's not exactly brilliant. It's not really how you want things to be going, as a couple of Liberators do continue to zone. That siege tank going to go down pretty quickly, so we kill that one off pretty nice and easily without issue there. It's going to be seeing this Liberator trying to siege up and take position a little bit as well, just for the first few moments. Get this all set up. Still waiting to see what we might be able to do in terms of a follow-up the next little bit. It's going to be seeing our units coming back and forth. We're going to see once again ByuN is back into this position. Just getting aggressive, finding himself an opportunity, finding himself chances in the main base. But again, Clem is pretty resilient at holding on, cleaning out a lot every time. Like, this is not cheap for ByuN. You can see 3,000 resource loss difference in the game. And that is kind of like his attempts to kind of dive in. That's his attempts to do like a bunch of damage that maybe doesn't go super well, doesn't go super quick. Tank sieging again. Marines are going to come stemming on forward. We're going to get straight through into that. As you see, the Vikings going to have to take a couple more steps away once more. It's just backing away from this. Trying to get out the way. Trying to stay out of trouble. Marines and the tank still continue through. As the army will continue to get settled here. Extra few tanks just going to get sieged again. Liberators are going to set up as well. We have a few Marines coming through. Just going to be again a little bit of damage back onto this main base still. Clem, being the defender, is not being allowed to play the kind of aggressive setup in the slightest for the last little while. He is just being held completely back. Liberators, though, are going to be really good at, again, clearing out those positions. And this, to me, is something that ByuN just hasn't had an answer to. ByuN's answer is just to obviously kind of go for the drops and to play, you know, kind of around this. Magic comes in, gonna grab a little kill. Well, again, ByuN, he can run around all he likes. He's very good at that kind of style of playing. It's just, I just don't feel like it's a consistent style of playing, right? I don't feel like there's consistency to that at all. And that is kind of the issue here. I'm just going to be seeing that Lib still trying to move into something of a position, still trying to get forward a little bit. Marines tanks just going to fight here. Liberator is going to help out a little bit, clearing out this position too. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the moment here. It really does feel like we are kind of running out of options. If your name is ByuN, I really feel like there's not much more going on for the moment. Lib's going to continue to push on forward. Tank's going to be in trouble. It's all well and good playing this kind of runaround game as ByuN, but there's moments like this when you just can't play that game any longer and then you really are stuck. This really does seem as though we are going to be on the tail end of success here from ByuN, and it is going to be Clem to take the first game of this semi-final. 20 minutes though on Grezvan. Pretty, like I say, ByuN was kind of behind the entire time, but was really able to at least make a solid game of it. And that's why his TvT is so scary, because you can feel like you're playing a great game. You can feel like you're doing everything right, only to then eventually ByuN just kind of whittle you down and eventually kind of force you to kind of make the mistakes. They kind of let him back into the game, right? So you got to be scared because even when you're winning, ByuN can make it feel like you're not actually winning all that well. And that's obviously like a rough little situation to have to play from, so. See what happens here. Get this one on the go. Game number 2. ByuN's in the top right-hand corner looking to bounce back here in this semi-final. In the bottom left, it's Clem. On the other side, Solo is still waiting in the semi-finals for the winner of Ragnarok and Nice, I believe it was. That is still no update, no further information for you guys on that one just yet, so still hopefully getting some info on that sooner rather than later. As the command center comes off into play, just going to get that going. And yeah, a couple of refineries coming through. Again, a lot of little bits and pieces set up still. Some early game establishment. Both players going the double gas obviously means we could potentially see some kind of matched aggression here from the two this time around. So that's something we'll keep our eyes on just a little. Definitely could be a factor. As if he comes to scout from ByuN, he's going to open us up with some information gathering, so comes across for that in these early few moments. Gets that started on up. Gets this into play. Factory coming up on both sides. We can see the reactors building on the barracks and again getting just up in a couple moments. That's going to be having again. Reaper's going to be the choice. Clem with the double Reaper obviously against ByuN, who goes one Reaper then the reactor, means that Clem has been a little bit greedier early. This obviously comes with some risks in case you're proxied or anything. In this case, those risks are not going to actually come to anything, which means that Clem's going to get away with it, so his greed is going to pay off. And now he gets to play the little bit of a better position at this stage. Moving on from there, so get the benefit from that reactor first. With 2 Reapers out now, 2 more already building. I mean, ByuN's not far behind because he won 1 Reaper reactor. Worst case for here, ByuN here, I guess, would be if he'd gone into like a yeah, imagine ByuN had gone, for example, like 1 Reaper or 2 Reapers off of no reactor, for example, right? Because then you're really not benefiting at all from the kind of yeah, then you're not really benefiting at all from the kind of reactor as quickly, and then Clem really can start to outnumber you very quickly in the game, and that's actually sometimes where the issues do arise. Two Reapers and a Hellion moving towards the natural. It's going to be seeing the first SCV there, just going to get picked off immediately. The Reapers going to continue down the left-hand side. And it is going to be kind of Clem on one side of the map. The Reapers counter-attacking for ByuN. If Clem doesn't find anything here, ByuN's Reapers are likely going to put him in a pretty good spot in these next few moments. So he's going to start getting some SCV kills. Clem sets on the natural, still dealing some damage himself. But like I said, he's absolutely taking some of the pain now as well. So this is going to begin adding up a little bit. Having our Cyclones coming in, getting a little bit of a lock on, clearing out a little bit for just a few moments and helping us out with that. Orbital command continues through, just going to be seeing the Raven still chilling out as well. It's just bringing all of this in for the moment, getting this set. You see Clem still trying to fight, still trying to be the aggressor at this point in the time. Coming through, he is going to try and make an escape with the medevac, but the lock-on should guarantee the kill here, and we are going to get it, so that's actually a pretty big deal as well. So Clem is going to lose out on his aggressive setup. Like I say, a bit of a shame because it just feels as though that maybe didn't necessarily need to happen. Marines tanks coming out down to the south. Cyclone comes in, getting a little bit of damage done. Just going to get a few shots off there as we do have the Matrix coming down. ByuN getting straight into this natural expansion. Just going to be seeing our Marines going and getting a few more of these SCVs. Our siege tank does get picked off, and that is more or less just going to be that rounded out for the moment there. So that should just bring that to a little bit of a close for now. His attack is actually held off pretty successfully. I didn't think that was going to be quite as smooth sailing. Clem is down. Chunk of SCVs again, though, now currently down by 10. Not exactly in the best position altogether here. By the way, guys, confirmed it is going to be a best of 5 TvZ Grand Final today, because it is guaranteed now that it is Solar Ragnarok in the other semis, which means that that round of 4 is set. We'll be diving into that ZVZ once this TvT has come to a close, and then into our TvZ Final following that as well. So that's all happening. That's all going on. Couple of more Vikings coming through, getting set up still for just a couple of moments here, getting this ready to rumble as we do have our barracks and everything continuing in. ByuN is pushing. I mean, ByuN really is not letting up the pressure with the Liberators as well. He's dead serious about trying to end this before this goes any further, before he needs to get any fancier than just basic units coming across the map and putting some damage into a Terran player that has been a little bit behind. Clem has trailed in this game. We're right away here. These Liberators obviously putting in a lot of work. So we've seen our Liberators still overhead. Obviously just really nothing to stop them. The couple of Marines are not going to be enough, which means that eventually these tanks are all going to get cleaned out. And that is going to be that for the moment here. That one is going to come to a close. And we're going to look into a Game 3 between ByuN and Clem in today's WardiTV July. So congrats to them in advance. In the bottom left-hand corner from the Shopify Rebellion, the red Terran is ByuN. Taking on the other side of the map, the blue Terran player here. This is Clem. Team Liquid, of course. Game number 3 of the series. It has been a fun one, like I say, ByuN, Clem. Have been both very fun to kind of follow lately. They've been very active. They've been playing a lot of tournaments, and both very exciting players coming into the game as 8 very soon. Both players to keep our eyes on going into that big tournament with a lot of prize money on the line, for example. So definitely both have a chance to do very well there. It's exciting times as our SCV just going to patrol the front just a little bit, just to see a little bit of what's going on. And yeah, a couple of refineries coming through, everything getting settled just for a little while here in our early stages. We're coming up on both sides, so we continue across for a couple of moments. Just going to be seeing our SCV leading the charge to that upper right. There is one proxy barracks from Clem. Playing this Durax is a very safe way to play, because it obviously makes sure that you're very okay in case your opponent proxies you. On top of it being very safe if your opponent proxies you, it can just be a good way to control the game a little bit as well. It's going to mean you're much later on factory tech. That's just kind of a consequence of this that you can't really do anything else about, so that's just one thing you kind of have to deal with. All said and done. See what ByuN does as ByuN. He goes one Reaper into the reactor, which he scouts the barracks though. Let's see if he changes what he does. I don't think he would cancel the reactor here, but it does just give you a little bit of a heads up like, hey, just be a little bit safer in these next few moments, you know, let's just not let anything kind of get out of hand or anything like that. There's just no need to let this become a bigger issue than it needs to be, I suppose, is a good way to look at it. So yeah. Let's make sure we're kind of on top of things there, as we do have our couple of Reapers showing up, and Clem will start to try and get a little bit of damage done. We'll see how successful he may be with this for these first few moments, I would say. Nothing really too crazy. Couple of Reapers going to go back to the front, and then just going to pull back. Another Reaper coming across. All these Reapers joining up together right now. Everything just getting set and settled for the moment. As we do have our Reapers about to hop back into the main base here. In they go. Hellion, Reaper, going to take some damage. First Hellion goes down. Now the Reapers are getting a drop as well. We are going to go for another couple of kills, and this is where Clem can maybe do very well. This is the kind of game I live for. You know, ByuN and Clem both microing to try and, like, live in a series. You know, they're both some of the best micro Terran players we have in this day and age of StarCraft 2, so absolutely the kind of players you love to watch, you love to see in scenarios like this, and then going up against each other in these scenarios, even freaking better, if you ask me. Hell yeah, I'm signed. You know, I'm already kind of signed up because I'm the caster. You know, I'm kind of here all day anyway, guys. But sign me up a second time, you know, because these are the kind of games that I think can be very fun, always very active. And yeah, Clem does okay. You know, if you look at what's being killed here, you got 2 Reapers, a Hellion, and 2 SCVs from his Reapers, and he still has the Reapers to control map control with. Remember what I said, though? And it is absolutely a point to be made, is that Clem is going to have later factory tech and later just tech units in general. If your factory's late, your starport's late, right? So all of your tech in this game at this point is going to be delayed from what you would usually like it to be, for example, and what it usually is expected to be. So, like I say, that's very important to just keep tabs on. Otherwise, you can end up in a little bit of trouble. You can see a Cyclone and a Medevac coming out now. But actually not that bad, actually, right? Like, he's getting his first starport unit up at a similar time to ByuN. His orbital's on place on the low ground, too. He's starting to lose some Reapers here, however, so losing a little bit of his control. We'll see if he loses these units. He does lose out on his map control in general, although he's going to win out with only a couple of Marines. A single Marine left on the side of ByuN. Clem is going to win the micro war. And Clem, can we do a lot more for this? It doesn't feel like there's a Cyclone here now, so it looks as though ByuN should be okay at the end, but that was a little scary, right? Like, this really felt as though this went a little bit bad. A little bit worse than I thought. I think it was going to be a much more comfortable situation, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, again, a little bit scary, perhaps scarier than expected. You do just have a Cyclone now from Clem coming in. Using the barracks to have vision is obviously very nice. Cute little move, cute little play. It's going to be having the barracks continue to come around, just seeing our racks now going down. But of course, that's a Rex that's for the most part pretty replaceable. It's not really going to be a major issue. It's kind of expected to die here. It was literally meant to be a scouting barracks. You have other racks at home. It's not going to delay any production or anything of that sort. So in that regard, we should just be good. Well, that Banshee shows up. A couple SCVs going down. Make it a third, maybe, possibly. Apparently not. Not just yet. Banshee comes back through. Third SCV, fourth SCV going down, looking for number 5. So this little Banshee play from ByuN is going to find some damage, and he wanted a little bit of something. He just take a 4-worker lead off this. I did feel like going in, he was kind of the player that had been kind of taking a beating so far, so nice to see him actually getting a little bit more out of this in general. Seems quite powerful. Stimpack still coming through, still just bringing that up as well for the initial few moments here. Going to come out to the front, as we do have ourselves the refinery building up on the natural as well. So again, just a little bit of setting up, a little bit of getting going. Vikings on the way out from Clem as he looks to take some air control. What's the Raven count out actually here from both players? 2-2, so just 2 different decisions. Third Raven versus already getting into Vikings, so Clem will have maybe more air control, but ByuN might have a little bit more surging power with the additional Raven available. It's always a pretty big deal. That comes in, couple Cyclones unload. There's 2 SCVs building barracks, so again, Clem doing what he can to delay and cause trouble as best as possible for the moment. Again, the more trouble you can cause, the happier you're going to be. He's going to deny Stimpack! What a huge cancel! Suddenly, ByuN's going to have to change a lot about what he was going to do in this game, because that really puts you in a much worse position. That really does honestly change a lot of how you can play this. This is going to be so much tougher. Actually, a little bit worried now, as you see the Cyclone pick up as well. Cute micro from Clem, make sure he is going to do the absolute best that he can do, and Clem is... I mean, it's not often you say Clem is, ByuN is kind of getting toyed around, because usually ByuN is the player of anyone who is doing the toying around. I think Clem is kind of toying around with ByuN a little bit right here. Like, this is feeling pretty rough if you're a ByuN fan. I mean, I feel like a lot of ByuN fans are also Clem fans, but I don't know, man. ByuN is just not finding anything. He gets 6 SCVs, and that's great and all, but now his Ravens are low energy, which means an immediate counter-attack at Clem could be very good. These Ravens are not going to be useful for a little while. Sim combat all being brought through. That's going to be having now a few units of Clem already moving across the map. He knows right now that the opportunities from his opponent are wearing thin, and that his opponent is not going to have quite as much as he maybe would like to have had based on what we just saw happening. So knowing that, we can make some plays, and Clem knows he can get in a position to be just, again, very annoying here, very frustrating for these next few moments. His tanks all setting up, the Vikings overhead, the Marines starting to take some damage. We having our army from ByuN having to retreat away. This third base location is being broken down. That obviously is never a good sign. And it really feels as though we are getting ourselves right up and properly into winning position for Clem, who's got this CC burning. There is maybe some SCVs nearby. They're currently long distancing the far left, as we'll see another tank broken down. Clem utilizing this right now. Tank gets Matrix once more. Just going to be seeing our Vikings still chilling out overhead. Still pushing through just a little bit. Tanks edging forward. Marines starting to stem up a little bit of a storm as well. Just going to be seeing a Marines dropping onto the third base over here. A lot of SCVs are going down. Great counterattack from ByuN. He's going to give himself a little bit of life in this game. It's not just going to be all about Clem. There is going to be a little bit of ByuN left in this. So a little bit of ByuN left in this. Is going to be seeing our units loading up, going to go dropping into the main base right now. Not going to be able to do anything there, so Clem's going to get shut down, and well, this is actually going to be a pretty big deal, I think. It's going to be seeing the siege tank getting Matrix. Clem going to drop his Vikings to try and keep his tanks alive. Is that good enough? I actually think it might be okay. The tanks of Clem are putting in work. Man, those tanks are just putting some serious work, haven't they? That was a very scary couple of moments. It's going to be having the depot at the front going down. Clem is still on a supply lead, all said and done. But it's just not a guarantee that that was going to be the case for a little while. As our Marines come forward, going to be taking just a little bit more damage. Marines going to get there for the siege tank for the Vikings. Doing a very good job of this. Yeah, nicely handled, honestly, from Clem, because this was suddenly a very, much more stressful position, a much more stressful situation I feel like he was originally expecting to end up in, if I had to make a guess. This was a lot of stuff going on out of nowhere almost, as Marines and tanks will stay gathered together. Have Marines in the center here from ByuN trying to make something of a play, trying to make an opening. Clem's in the main base now, and he still maintains that 20 supply lead. He's still got the position on the map as well, which maybe is scary in a couple of situations. I think for the moment he's absolutely fine with this as 2-2 upgrades continue through. It's going to be seeing the combat shield coming up as well, so all of this still being brought in. Marines, the Viking, going to just move forward into the center of the map here. The rest of these units from Clem coming across as well. It's just getting ourselves settled. He has just got so much stuff. Now, again, ByuN can't be that far off. 20 army supply down. Both players start a fourth base at a pretty similar timing as well. So if ByuN can just hold on, if ByuN can make sure this army supply difference doesn't end up kind of wrecking him, he might actually still be in with a little bit of luck for a continued game here. This might not be quite done as soon as I initially thought it might be. Let's see how we continue in the next couple of moments, though, because these are the kind of games where, in TvT especially, games can change in an instant, right? Like, things can change so quickly. Like, games are just like, you know, in TvT, it can be such a volatile matchup where all of a sudden one drop does just do so much. And I kind of felt like we were maybe having that moment just before when ByuN found so much damage onto Clem. I really felt like that might have been the moment just to make this a whole big problem, to make this a whole big thing. He's in the center. ByuN actually going for a little bit of a move out here. He does have 2-2 to only 1-1. The upgrade lead of ByuN is now his advantage. That's something that ByuN can utilize in his favor. That's something ByuN can maybe cling on to a little bit. And Marines are going to get a +2 armor as well. So Clem's going to remain behind on those upgrades for a little bit longer too. So this has actually turned into a much more serious situation for Clem. This actually might be a very major problem for him if we're not careful here. Marines in this main base still dealing damage. SCV is going down. The tanks in the center already putting some pain in as well. Getting a little bit more done already. ByuN in the main, ByuN on the third. Clem's supply is dropping. He's struggling to find a defense here, in fact. So yeah, he really is having a little bit of issue dealing with this right now. Marines and tanks come pushing up, trying to get in position, trying to get in a location to get something done in the near future. Couple Liberator shots going to come through, and I don't know if they're really going to be anything really that masterful or exciting. I'm just going to load up, dive into the main base. There's one low HP medevac. If we can just get one shot on that, it would have killed so much. If he retargeted the missile turret, he could have killed so many units before they dropped. However, Clem's going to clean this up very quickly. His tank fire is very good. The Vikings chase the medevacs, and ByuN ends up losing a ton of supply. Well, there you go. That's a pretty big deal. In fact, that's a huge deal. I mean, that is just Clem taking the opportunity to just shut down his opponent and just say, no, I see how you like to play. I see your aggression. I see what you're trying to do. He's just going to say no to it. He's not going to let it go any further than that. As now Marines drop into the main base, looking for just any extra damage we might still be able to get here. Now we're going to have our attack on the left side pushing in. It does look as though this base is in, at the very least, a little bit of trouble here. Clem trying to push forward. Can he actually justify this push through? Can he actually make this breakthrough work? He's going to try right now. It feels like this is expensive for Clem, and it is expensive, especially considering he's down a full. I mean, two armor upgrades on his Marines. His Marines are always going to be taking bad hits comparatively. And any sort of Marine versus Marine trade, Clem, with a 4th CC that can relocate very soon, get back to 4 bases, rather than just being on the current 3. It's his 3rd base location that was broken down. There is an orbital that will fly back there, keeping that alive. A pretty big deal. Keeping this very exciting for the moment. As the Marines continue through, it's going to be coming down the bottom. +3 attack, finishing from ByuN. He's now on a +1 attack, a +2 armor lead in this game, which is a ridiculous position to be in. What a fantastic place to sit and, you know, just what a fantastic place to be. I don't really have any other words than you're just in a great spot. So let's see if we can keep on keeping on with that and perhaps move towards closing this out a little bit as we have Clem. With the Liberator getting shot down, ByuN trying to obviously keep his own chances as high as possible here. Sunstyle coming up as well. +2 armor is going to start on the side of Clem, so bringing that up right now. Marines, our tanks just going to start pressing forward. We've got the few tanks on the left-hand side getting set up nicely as well. Just our tanks try and fight a little bit. army of ByuN out on the left-hand side. You see the rest of these Marines and tanks on the right. This is where Clem is focused on. This is where Clem wants to try and find the breaking points. This is where he is hoping mostly to break on forwards. Another, well, almost 20-minute game here right now. Marines coming by, a little bit of damaging shots going off. In just a couple of moments. Marine's going to drop back in over here as Clem tries to defend his own main base. See the rest of these Marines coming through as well, just trying to get set up, trying to get in position somewhat right now. ByuN is back on the offensive. Supply lead in his favor. Clem was unable to really get enough done on the other side of the map, and so we're back to kind of flipping positions and flipping the switch on this game in general. It feels like it's been a bit of a game of ping pong. Now Clem is going to be the player making dives. He's going to see the Marines. He needs to make a move into the main base. That's the opportunity for sure. Oh, there's units there as well. He'll just unload into them, but this is exactly where the upgrades are going to be massive. This is 100% where the 3-3 versus 2-1 is going to show its head the most, and Clem is actually losing so much supply. That's 4 full medevacs going down. That's actually just straight up game. Clem tries to pull a bit of a ByuN move, and ByuN just says, no, I know how these moves work way too well, and that is going to be it.